welcome to my channel. My name is Anna and today we're going to be talking about my 23andMe Ancestry results. I want to start by talking about what I think I am from my parents' histories and stories that I've been told, and then compare that to the actual results that I got. My dad was born and raised in Guam, and then my mom was born in Mexico and moved to the United States when she was a little girl. My dad being from Guam, I always understood that that meant we were native Chamorro and at least some Spaniard, because Spain discovered Guam in the late 1500s and started to really colonize in the 1600s. Then because Spain was going back and forth from Mexico to Guam and then to the Philippines, I did expect for there to be some native Mexican and some Filipino in there. A story, which I later found out to be true, is that I am the descendant of a Filipino priest and his Chamorro housekeeper. So Filipino, definitely expected that to be in there. And then there were also some whispers about somebody in my dad's family having been Chinese. On my mom's side, that of course does mean to me native Mexican, again some Spaniard, and then you have to take into account more of Spain's colonization around the world and Spain's own history. So Spain was, we'll say, colonized by Northern Africans for a time. We most often refer to them as the Moors. So I expected some North African or some Middle Eastern to be in my results as well. And there was a story that my mom told about Ungaros, which to my mom always meant gypsy. She asked some of her family members when they were telling these stories about these Ungaros, what do you mean? What do you mean, gypsy? And they said, Ungaros, from their country. And my mom said, do you mean from Hungary? And they kind of just waved it off like, yeah, that's what we mean. I have expected Hungarian to show up in there, and also the possibility of Jewish being in there. So with all that being said, we're expecting native Chamorro, Spanish, Filipino, native Mexican, and Hungarian, along with probably North African or Middle Eastern, and possibly Chinese and Jewish. If you're unfamiliar with 23andMe, so what you do is you have a package and you have to spit in this tube. It feels really awkward to have to spit in a tube like that. You repackage it in the same box that they send you and mail it off. They do a great job of tracking the progress of your DNA test, but mine did take a little bit longer than I thought, just because they gave me an initial results date and then they kind of pushed that a little bit. So I think for me the process took about 2.5 weeks, I would say. So let's see the results. My results came back 57.1 East Asian and Native American. So that includes 33.7% Filipino and Austronesian, Philippines and Guam, 18.8 Native American from Mexico, 0.2% Chinese, 0.2% Indonesian, Thai, Mer, and Myanmar, 2% broadly Northern Asian and Native American, 1.3% broadly Chinese and Southeast Asian, 0.9% broadly East Asian and Native American, 34.5% European, 18.4% Spanish and Portuguese, 0.5% Italian, 0.1% Ashkenazi Jewish, 14% Southern European, 0.1% broadly Northwestern European, and 1.4% broadly European. Now this Sub-Saharan African is a little bit surprising to me, but it's really cool. It's 2.1% in total, and it breaks it down including Nigerian and Congolese and West African. Now the 1.4 Western Asian and North African, that's what I'm expecting to be the Moors. So that's 1.2% North African and Arabian and 0.2 broadly Western Asian and North African. There is a South Asian, which is 0.2% and 4.7 unassigned. Confirmation on the Chamorro and Filipino, Native Mexican, and hey, look at that, Chinese is in there, but I wasn't expecting the Indonesian. What's interesting is the Southern European also includes Spain and Portugal again, but also Greece, Italy, and even Malta. So as it turns out, the largest single ethnicity that I have as far as my markers go is the Filipino and Austronesian. I am curious as to what exactly is included in Austronesian for 23andMe, because if I go deeper into the report, it also talks about Tonga, which to me is Polynesian. Polynesia has shown up as separate on the Ancestry Results for my cousins who went through Ancestry. So I'm really curious to see how different my results would be through them. It's because our dads were first cousins. Now when it comes to the Spanish and Portuguese, as well as the broadly Southern European, I kind of lumped those two together and then split that down the middle for my parents since they both have that Spanish influence. And that combined with the other East Asian markers really comes to about an even split between my parents, with the Asian markers coming largely from my dad. At least that's what I'm thinking, because migration. I am going to do the Ancestry version of this. I'm really curious to see if and how my results change, particularly for that largest chunk of my markers being the Guamanian, Filipino, Austronesian, because my cousin had hers broken down further and it said specifically from Guam and also included Polynesian from Hawaii. So I want to see how the results differ, if they do at all, and be able to come back and tell you all of those. Have you taken an ancestry test before? What were your results? Were they anything that you were expecting, or were you just completely floored by the results? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.